Welcome back to my channel. Please like, comment and subscribe. Thank you. So these are the materials I'll be using. This is our base. In my country, in my locality, it is called the Pope cap. It's just a very small cute cap. This is our crinoline. I'll be using this 3 inches crinoline. We have our spiky feather just to give it a little bit of riz get. This is our Birdcageveil. Yes, Birdcageveil. Our Alice band, definitely we'll be using the Alice band, and our trimmings to cover up our work and also beautify it. The very first thing we want to determine is where our base will sit on our fascinator, and you can actually determine it by just placing it on your mannequin head, but I'm just going to be doing that. So if you're a beginner, you can do that by placing it on it. So what I'm going to be doing is, some people make use of gun, candle gun, your glue gun, yes, is okay, but I prefer to work with my needle and thread than with my candle gun. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm just going to be tacking it. For example, what you should know is that your Alice band, your fascinator should not sit directly, except it's the style anyway. But for most fascinators, it should come like this to the side. So that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm okay with where it is placed. So I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to start sewing it around it. So as much as we are still going to cover this place, we don't want our work to be everywhere. So I'll take it back inside like so. And can you see, I'm going to be taking it like so. And even on this top part here, just a little pinch like this, and you continue sewing it until you are okay with the film. And there's something else I want you to note. As I am working, I am ensuring that the needle is not passing through the Alice band, so that I can adjust it if I don't like where it is placed. So I'm just going to continue tacking it like so, ensuring that my needle is not going through the Alice band, to give me that privilege of adjusting it if I don't like where it is placed eventually. The next thing we want to do is we want to work with our bird cage veil. Yes. So this is a yard. I don't want to use up to a yard for the veil. So what I'm going to be doing is, let's see, I'm going to be cutting out 9 inches from from it. So this is what we have after cutting out the 9 inches. Now for some people, they leave the ends like this, which is okay, because birdcage view does not free like crinoline. But for me, I'm going to be tying both ends. This is what we have on both ends. So the next thing we want to take is, we want to take our threaded needle. So our thread and needle, and I'm going to be gathering it. I'm just going to come from it one particular side. Doesn't matter which side I come from. So I'm going to come from a side, and I am going to gather it. You should have something like this after gathering it. I'm just going to be tying everything together, or better still, I can look at what it looks like on my Allen fascinator. Remember, we have a fascinator already, so I'll just take it like so. But for safety, I'll prefer to tack it first, since I'm okay with what it looks like. So I'm just going to be tacking both mouths together. Remember the 2 mouths that we tied? I'm going to be tacking both mouths together. Next thing we want to do is, you want to place it on your fascinator. Remember, we have a fascinator. So you want to place on your fascinator, and this is where the fascinator will be facing. So since it's facing you guys, this is where it's going to be facing, but it is facing me right now. So this is how I'll be fixing it. So if you don't want it to cover the face too much, you can take it to the back like so. So it's just going to sit like this. I'm going to be taking it to the front a little. I think I like where it is here. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm just going to be tacking it. Please, uh, for me, what I do most times is I ensure that I do all my works on a particular spot so that it is very okay for me to cover, because I don't want anything to, I don't want any parts. I don't want to see like people saying, oh, this is where she worked. I don't like it. It doesn't speak well of your brand. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm just going to be taking, remember our thread and needle. So I'm just going to be just push it through, tack it to your ready-made fascinator. Remember, we have the fascinator. So that's what we are going to be doing. This is what I have after I've tagged it. I tagged everything down very well. The next thing we want to do now is we want to work with our 3-inch crinoline, and I'm going to be cutting out 15 inches in 4 places. What I'm going to be doing next is I'll be taking this is my crinoline. I can just I'll look for the midpoint, bring it together like so, look for the bring this part to the midpoint like so, and I'm going to be tying it together. You can use just ordinary thread to tie it together to ensure that it stays in place. I'm going to be using uh needle and thread for that. I'm going to be doing this for the four of them. So this is the last one. And what do you want to do now? This is it straight like this. The first thing you do, we are going to be using 3 eventually, not 4. The first one, you cross it like so. When you cross it, use your needle, push it through both bows. You can just, for security purposes, push it through again. You take the other one. Remember that we slanted it. You are going to be slanting this over. You are going to be slanting it. So you are still going to arrange it. So you remember the first one straight, then slanted like this, and then we are going to be, so you see that there's a space here. We are going to be filling up that space with this. So we are going to be taking our thread and needle, and we are going to be pushing it through that one we just placed. When working with crinoline, you have to be extra meticulous, because crinoline frays, what I mean by fray is that, can you see? So you have to put on all security measures to ensure that nothing happens to it. And some of the things you can ensure is that whenever you want to, for example, when I want to form a bow, I first of all tie the ends together, and when I'm bringing it in the middle, I don't just leave, let's say, like half an inch. No, I leave up to 1 inch here to tie it so that nothing happens. So let's go back to our bow. So you are just going to be tacking it together like so, and arrange your bow very well, and we have something like this. Can you see it's beautiful? Now the next thing we want to do is we want to attach it on our fascinator. Remember our fascinator? I hope you've not forgotten. So we are going to be attaching it on our fascinator. So where we've been working before, that is where we are still going to put it. Attach it to the fascinator with your needle and your thread. Once I'm okay with what I have, the next thing I'll be doing is I'm going to be taking this one like so, this one like this, and I'm going to be bringing both of them together like this. And I'm going to be using my thread and my needle to tie it off. I'm still going to trim out all these ones though. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be bringing it to this place where we worked here. I'm going to be bringing it here, and I'm going to be using my thread and my needle to tack it to the fascinator. That is what I'm going to be doing. Take it back out. This is my spiky feather. When I was tacking it, I should have tagged it every. Let me see if I still want to use it anyway. I think it's still going to, yes, I still want to use it. So I'm just going to be putting my spiky feather at different points with my discretion. It's not like there's any place. I can just put it here. Do you get? That is where your creativity comes in. I'm going to be tacking it. This is what we have so far. The next thing I want to do is to cover all these dirty works. Number one thing is look for any crinoline phrase and then trim it off. Don't trim it off too much so that your crinoline bow won't come off. Now I have to be careful because of these spiky feathers, and I think that's okay. So what I'm going to be doing next is I'm going to be taking my trimmings. I can cut out, let's say, like 2 or 3. I'm going to be using it to cover these parts that we worked. You understand? So nobody is saying, oh, this is where she's, I know, I don't like that. That does not even speak well. So I'm going to be using it to cover it. And what I'll be doing first is I'll be attaching my gum. You can use any gum of your choice, any fabric gum of your choice on it. And if you are not new to this channel, you know that whenever we want to work with fabric gum, what I would say is that allow your gum to dampen a little before applying it to your project, before applying it to that job. Because if you apply it immediately, it can make a mess of it. And even making it dampen, allow it to gum well. So allow it dampen a little. I'm going to be applying the gum on the flowers that I cut off. The flowers are damping a little, and I'll be attaching it to my work. Just look for places where in fact you can put it outside there if you feel that a little bit of thread is showing. Yes, you can. This is what we have right now. Now the only thing remaining for us to do, don't forget our work inside here. I'm just going to be taking a piece of fabric. For my fascinator, what I do is I use a soft poly material. I cut it out with my zigzag scissors and big enough to cover where I've worked, and I place it there.